Hey chat, welcome to a brand new video. This video that I'm going to be uploading is a little bit of a different video. It's one that is basically kind of just a personal video where I get to vent, where I get to rant about a, very specific topic that I don't think I've ever really talked about it too much on my channel before or, on my Twitch streams even. But this topic, basically it was inspired by something that recently happened. And that something was the Elden Ring Nightreign network test. For anyone who does not know about this, I am a huge fan of Souls games. I really love 3 of the Souls games that I've played, Dark Souls 3, Elden Ring, and Sekiro. I love those 3 games with all my heart. They are absolutely incredible games and works of art that I will forever appreciate. So when Elden Ring Nightreign was first announced, of course I was cautiously skeptical about the game. I basically just wanted it to be really good. But I was also aware that Nightreign is a slightly different type of Souls game compared to the traditional, right? Um, I remember when, the network test for Elden Ring Nightreign was announced, and it was going to be happening on consoles exclusively, not on PC. And basically, if you had an Xbox or you had a PlayStation, you could sign up, and if you got lucky, you could participate in the network test. So, me being someone who loves the Souls genre, I decided to sign up for the network test immediately. And I was very lucky, I actually did get selected to participate in the network test. However, it was simply just not meant to be. This past week, or specifically the past couple of days, for me have been kind of crazy hectic when it comes to the Nightreign network test. Because, yeah, I feel like I went through a whole giant mess of just different, different things being done in order to try and, prepare myself for the network test and to participate in the network test. Basically, so what happened at first is I remember I received a network test code, right? And at that point, I had this realization where I was like, oh man, it would be really cool if I could maybe create some content out of Nightreign, the network test, right? So I realized that I did not have a capture card, which is a device that, allows you to basically connect your console to your PC and kind of control some things with your console through your PC. And one thing that it does allow you to do with a capture card is it allows you to stream your console games on Twitch or record a video of your console gameplay to release on YouTube, right? So I realized I didn't have a capture card, and I attempted to get one. Basically what happened is I had a friend of mine who was like, oh hey, I have an extra capture card, would you like it? And I, told my friend I would pay them for it, but they insisted that, I just take it. And so, one day we met up, and he, brought the item with him to give it to me. It turns out that what he brought with him was not a capture card. It was something called an Elgato Cam Link, which that device, basically it allows you to connect a professional photography camera to your PC or to your laptop, and that way you can use your camera as sort of like a webcam, right? You can use it to kind of record videos or do live streams and have higher quality camera footage, right? So he gave that to me, and I was very grateful, very thankful for him, because a Cam Link is a really cool device, and I'm very happy that I have one now, thanks to my friend. But it did not help me with the console, situation, with the capture card situation. And so, after that happened, right? Basically, what I decided to do is I decided to go online and try to order a capture card to be shipped and delivered to me. Unfortunately, the capture card that I ended up ordering, which was affordable, it was not going to be delivered to me until the end of February. So, even though I did get it, basically, it would have no use for me regarding the Elden Ring Nightreign network test, right? So, I did that, and, it was kind of just something that I did where I was like, well, in the future, I have a capture card available for use if I need it. Then, I basically just decided to try and figure out, okay, is it possible, without a capture card, to still create content out of Nightreign? And what I found out is that, essentially, there's a way you can directly stream from your Xbox console to Twitch. However, what I found out is that it is basically not really possible at all to, stream your Xbox gameplay to Twitch while also having a webcam and a good microphone, to basically enhance the gameplay experience, right? So I could stream the gameplay, I could stream the, actual game footage, but it would have no microphone audio and it would have no webcam, right? So I found that out and I was like, okay, maybe this can work. Maybe I can do something about this, right? And basically I just thought to myself, as long as I can capture the gameplay footage of the Nightreign, network test, I could work with that. Like, that would be perfectly okay for me. However, not long after that, I found out and I realized that according to the FAQ, according to the rules of the network test, apparently, players are not allowed to live stream it, right? So I was like, well, crap. That definitely, is an obstacle. That definitely is something that, makes my plans obsolete. So after that, I was like, okay, well, maybe I could record, the Nightreign network test footage, on YouTube. I could basically record a video of it, upload it to YouTube, and then I could keep that video private. And, once the game fully releases, like officially releases, which I believe is like at the end of May, I could release that playtest footage and be like, hey guys, this is what the game looks like before it officially released. However, I did a lot of basically technical testing to see if it was possible to, record the footage and, either make a video out of that gameplay footage from my Xbox console, or to live stream it to YouTube and do like a private live stream where only I can watch that live stream and nobody else. What I essentially found out is that it is basically not possible, right? There might be a way, but it's very, very, very excessively complex to do, and it's not really worth the time and resources, right? So, I figured that stuff out, and I was like, okay, well, it seems like either, one, I might be able to possibly record just gameplay footage of the Nightreign network test, or I would not be able to get any footage whatsoever, right? And I would just have to play the network test myself, and, all of the stuff that I see, all of the stuff that I experience, it would all just have to live in my head, right? And I would not be able to share anything with anyone. However, there was one final last problem that I encountered, and this was actually, it turns out, the biggest problem, the worst problem out of all. So I received this network test code, and it specifically said that the network test code was for the Xbox Series X or the Series S, right? And so, I receive this code, and I boot up my Xbox console, and I enter the code in, right? And, it says that it accepted the code, the code was valid, and supposedly the Nightreign, network test would appear on my games list, and when the network test starts, when it happens, I would be able to jump into Nightreign. Unfortunately, what I found out is that when I took a look at the Elden Ring Nightreign test that popped up on my console, it gave me an error message that said, this, game is not compatible with your device. And I was like, what the heck? Like, this is weird. And I was like, is this going to change once the network test is live, once it starts happening, right? Maybe they put this error message there so that players do not get into the network test before the network test, starts officially. And so I had to do some research, I had to do some digging, and I actually reached out to some people who are affiliated with Elden Ring. They are like associated with the developers and with, the whole network test situation. They are people who are knowledgeable about it, right? I don't think that these people are, people who work for Bandai Namco or anything like that. I think that they just, are people who volunteered to help out with the Elden Ring community and the Nightreign network test, right? So I reached out to some people who would be able to give me some answers, and I explained the whole situation to them, and I asked them, like, what's going on? What do I do? How do I fix this? And what I found out, it definitely was something that was extremely disappointing, and it kind of like just annoyed me, honestly. It frustrated me a lot, and it is actually the reason why I'm kind of making this video right here. Basically what I found out is that I received a network test code for the Xbox Series X or the Series S, right? And that console, that Xbox console, is the newest generation that is available right now. The console that I own in my home is an Xbox One S, right? So the Xbox One S, and the Xbox One is a slightly older console than the Series X or Series S. And so essentially what I was told whenever I asked this question to the people who could give me answers is that even if they could hypothetically give me a replacement, network test code, it would not be compatible with my device. They did not have network test codes for the Xbox One, which absolutely blew my mind, right? And I think the reason why this was something that, frustrated me and annoyed me a lot whenever I discovered this is that, I have this way of looking at things. I have this mentality where I think that, if you have a product, if you have an item that works and it's perfectly functional and it does its job and it, has no issues, no problems with it whatsoever that stop it from working, then that means that whatever item, whatever product it is a good item, and it should be an item that basically continues to be relevant until the day that it, dies, right? So, in my opinion, my console, the Xbox One, is still a very relevant, very valid console that should be utilized and should be relevant in this day and age, should be considered as something that can be used by consumers, by customers, right? And so this idea that basically the Elden Ring network test was only exclusive to the newest generation of consoles out there is ridiculous to me. And I do not like that. Not a single bit. I think that, one thing I kind of take away from this situation and the scenario of what happened is that, right now, we are currently living in the year 2025, and it is absolutely crazy to me to think that, there are things that can be designed for the newest generation of consoles, but for some reason, those, games or those products or whatever that are designed for the newest generation, they are, for some reason, not backwards compatible. Like, you cannot take that stuff that is designed for the newest generation console and then use it for the second generation, the generation prior to the newest generation. You can't use it on that device, on that console, right? I think that to me blows my mind because I know more than 100%, I know for a fact that people out there, these people who are engineers and game developers and whatever, right, who build these consoles, who build these games, they know how to make things backwards compatible. It is possible. They are able to do it. It's just that they refuse to do it because basically greed, right? They want to make sure that consumers, customers everywhere, are spending their hard-earned money buying the newest generation devices and then paying a shitload of money for the, newest video games that come out, right? And it's something that is disgusting to me, and, basically it serves as the kind of foundation for this video where essentially my entire point, my main theme is that I despise consoles in this day and age. I really, really, really hate consoles, and I think that in this day and age, consoles are irrelevant because basically everything that a console is capable of, right? You can do the same thing and even more on a PC. And the thing is that, with a PC, the amount of times that you have to basically throw away your PC and buy a whole new PC is significantly less than the amount of times that you have to get rid of an old console and buy a brand new video game console just because the game companies, they refuse to accommodate for the perfectly well-working consoles that we currently have, right? And yeah, it's something that blows my mind, and it frustrates me, it annoys me, it angers me. I think that consoles in the modern era are completely just a giant, massive waste of money and a waste of time. I think that anyone out there who desires to play video games, invest in a PC, get a PC, because like consoles are just so garbage in the modern era, and I do not enjoy them whatsoever. Yeah, it's quite ridiculous, And so going back to this whole Nightreign network test situation, I kind of wanted to discuss this because I am not, 100% certain what exactly happened. Like, I don't remember exactly how events went down because when I was signing up for the network test, it asked me what console do I play on. Do I play on, PlayStation or Xbox? And it would say PlayStation 5 or Xbox Series S/X, right? In that, scenario where I needed to choose one or the other, right? Obviously, I chose Xbox because that is the console that I have. However, I think that when I signed up for the network test, I was not really like sitting down and thinking about it carefully and really like understanding what I was doing because basically it was either that one, I saw Xbox Series X/S and I assumed that the Xbox One S was a part of that, I guess like group of consoles, right? The Xbox consoles, right? And I probably could have gotten confused because my console that I have, the name of it is Xbox One S, and the, listed console on the network test says Xbox Series X/S. So I thought that, oh, the S in that, title, it refers to the One S, right? That's what I thought. The other possibility is that I saw Xbox Series X/S, and when I saw that and I read it, I had this automatic assumption that popped into my head where I was like, oh, well, if it works on the newest generation of the Xbox consoles, surely it is, backwards compatible. Surely it works on the Xbox One as well, because why should it not? We're living in 2025. Backwards compatibility should be a thing that is very, very, very common and very, viable, right? But yeah, lo and behold, I found out that none of my assumptions, none of my thoughts about my console and about the compatibility requirements were true. And so essentially, this Elden Ring Nightreign network test, right? I don't get to participate. I am excluded from it because I do not have the newest generation of console. And I have a couple of different, takeaways from this situation that happened. First and foremost, I do want to very, very, confidently say that the naming practice that Xbox has, right, where like they have one console called the Xbox One S, and then they have another console which is called the Xbox Series X or Series S, right? All of these different, names for their consoles are really, really shitty. I think that Xbox needs to come up with a better way to differentiate their consoles, the newer generation versus the older generation and whatnot. They just need to do a better job of naming their consoles, without a doubt. Number two, I think that, again, the idea that backwards compatibility is non-existent, and also the fact that a network test is only specifically made for the newest generation of console and not the, second to newest generation is kind of stupid in my opinion. I feel like that's so wasteful, because the way I think about it is you can kind of look at it in this manner. Imagine that, Elden Ring Nightreign, it releases in May and it's only playable on PlayStation 5 or the newest generation of Xbox, right? Let's say the Xbox Series X, right? If that is the case, and it's only on those two consoles, and then, it's available on PC as well, sure, but let's talk about consoles specifically, that means that those people out there who they own a PlayStation 4 or they own an Xbox One that is perfectly working, no issues whatsoever, it is completely flawless, it is a fantastic, console that works for them. Those people, maybe a lot of them want to play Nightreign, and they want to buy the game, they want to play the game. Well, guess what? They can't, right? It is impossible for them. So what does that mean? That means that assuming those players are not brain dead, assuming that they are not stupid and they are not wasting money, they will basically just refrain from playing Elden Ring Nightreign. They will just ignore the game and move on and play other games instead, right? And if that actually happens, that basically means that, the developers of the game from Software, right, the developers of Elden Ring Nightreign, they are losing out on potential revenue, potential profit from a larger, basically a larger selection of customers and consumers, right? They are limiting themselves to only certain people who own a certain console. And that, to me, I think is ridiculous when the goal, the desire of the developers of Nightreign is to try and earn a revenue, earn a profit that, means that their game is successful, right? So, yeah, I just think it's ridiculous that this would be the case, without a doubt. Yeah, and then I think, the last thing, maybe not the last thing, but one other thing that I kind of took away from, this entire experience, right? So, when the network test, when it first started, which I believe was on, for me, it was on a Friday morning at 3 a.m. in the morning, right? When it started, I remember that I was taking a look at the official Elden Ring Discord server, where a lot of other people who could partake in the network test, they were there in the Discord, server chatting. I was, basically just observing the conversation and the messages and the chats that were happening, and it seems like, essentially, the very first network test session was a massive failure. It seems like there were so many people that were complaining, so many people that were, experiencing technical difficulties and just like frustrations and annoyances with Nightreign, and it seems like a lot of people were not happy with the network test. And it basically just looked like massive chaos in the Discord server. So, there is a part of me where I think to myself, even though I am sad I don't get to be a part of the Nightreign network test because, up until now, there has never been a game that I have been personally excited about and invested in that, I really, really wanted to play, and I got an opportunity to try out the game early on, right? This was like the very first time I've been offered an opportunity like this. So of course, not being able to partake, it did make me sad. But seeing how everything went down during the very first network test session, I think that there is a part of me where I'm like, you know what? I'm kind of glad. I'm kind of happy that I don't have to deal with all of this headache, all of this craziness, And yeah, I think like, if I were to look at the silver lining, look at the bright side, by not being able to partake in the network test, it means that essentially my weekend, right, this weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, when the network test is happening, since I am not able to participate, I have, my weekend to myself. I don't have to, schedule time out of my day or out of my night in order to participate in this network test and, experience any sort of like major technical flaws and problems with the current state of the game, right? But yeah, I mean, I think that it's kind of a bittersweet situation. There's a part of me where I'm like, man, this really sucks. I really wanted to try out the network test. However, another part of me is like, you know what? It's fine. Forget about it. Don't worry about it. It is what it is, and at the very least, you don't have to deal with the annoyances and frustrations that a lot of other network test players are experiencing, right? But yeah, basically, this entire video, again, the point that I want to kind of just I wanted to emphasize it and point it out and make sure that it is the major focus of this entire video is that I really, really, really fucking hate, I despise consoles. I think that consoles are just like absolute garbage in the modern era. And I hope that at some point all of the annoying problems that consoles have, the annoying flaws and the restrictions and limitations that consoles have, I hope that they get removed and they disappear. And who knows, maybe at some point in the future, it could be 100 years from now, 1,000 years from now, whatever, I hope that consoles eventually become completely irrelevant and they fade away with time and nobody ever plays consoles anymore and they only ever play, you know, PC games, right? Because, yeah, I think that the current state of consoles and the current state of video games that are created exclusively for consoles, it is something that frustrates me and annoys me and angers me, and it's just ridiculous, absolutely just, in my opinion, unacceptable. I really, really, really dislike it. But yeah, last but not least, before I end off this video, I will say that, you know, I have seen a tiny, tiny, tiny amount of Elden Ring Nightreign so far. Basically, there is one YouTuber that I follow who is an amazing video creator that talks about lore for Souls games. His channel is called Vati Video, and I've seen his video on gameplay of Nightreign, but outside of that, I've basically just stopped myself from looking at any other videos, any other live streams, anything, right? I kind of want to, you know, from now on, I want to kind of keep myself spoiler-free about Nightreign, and I want to wait until the game fully releases in May to experience it myself. I don't know if I'm going to be pre-ordering Nightreign. I think that I would like to. However, the thing is that, like, right now, I don't really have the excessive disposable income to throw around, so I need to be a little bit careful with my spending. What I might do is I might wait for, you know, like a couple weeks or so until, you know, we get closer to the release date of Nightreign, and then, I don't know, I might pre-order it, I might order it, you know, when it officially drops. Heck, I might even just wait until there is like a sale on the game itself and buy it for a cheaper price. But I will say that, you know, I truly hope Nightreign does end up being a very, very enjoyable game. I hope that it ends up being a game with very minor or zero technical problems, and I really, really hope that I get to play and enjoy Nightreign with my friends, since the game is, you know, a co-op multiplayer experience, right? But yeah, anyways, just wanted to make this little video here, kind of go on a little bit of a rant, a little bit of a vent, and be like, yeah, this is absolutely fucking stupid. But in any case, chat, that's gonna do it for me today. I appreciate you taking the time to listen, taking the time to watch this, but I will see you guys later. I'll see you in a future video or a future live stream. All right, thank you so much for watching. Have a great day or night. Peace out, guys. Bye-bye.